Hey everybody, John Paul Guidry here with Guidry Golf and Sport. I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about the topic of injury prevention and really realistically injury reduction. Um, there really is no such thing as injury prevention. We can't prevent injuries. There are too many factors involved with any activity or sport we do, and there's an inherent risk with all sports. The risk may be different or higher in different sports, and even in physical activity that we do, there's always some kind of inherent risk that is there. But with that being said, we can do some things to prepare our bodies for that risk and for the stress, both the physical and the mental stress that life will put on us, sports will put on us, any activity will put on us. And so I want to talk about today some of the best things we can do to prepare that and reduce our chances of injury. Injuries can still happen, pain can still happen, but we can do some things to either increase or decrease that risk that's there. So the first thing is consistent strength training. So especially when it comes to golf, this has been shown to have a significant benefit to the reduction of repetitive use injuries that are common with golf. Golf is a very one-sided sport. You make the same movement over and over again, and so there's a huge risk for repetitive use injuries of the back, of the shoulder, the hand, and wrists. And staying strong, continuing to load your body, load the muscles, load the joints, in tolerable ranges and tolerable loads, with progressive overload and getting stronger, both in and out of season, is one of the best things we can do, and really all athletes can do, to prepare their body for the strains and stresses that are involved in sport. And even everyday activities, being able to lift and carry and garden and get up and down on the ground, play with your kids, all these things, the stronger we are, the better our bodies can tolerate those things. Number two is proper nutrition and nutrition to support our training and our activity. So we're making sure we're getting enough protein. That's probably the number one place to start. When we strength train, we for lack of getting too deep into this, we break down the muscle, and proteins are the building blocks. The amino acids and proteins are the building blocks to that muscle rebuilding it. So I start every athlete at making sure they're getting in enough protein, and 99% of the people that I train, that I work with, when they come to me, they're not. I've never had anybody that's taken in too much protein, if that's even a thing. And rarely do I have anybody that's taken in enough protein. So that's the first place to start. Along with that, just general making better food choices, healthy food choices, fruits, vegetables, lean meats, getting the majority of your calories and your nutrients from that. Number three is load management. So what I mean by this is managing your reps, both in the gym, so not overdoing it in the gym, and on the practice and playing field. So especially with golfers, that's kind of a big thing, is not so much in the gym, but kind of beating balls on the driving range, and a certain degree of practice is needed there to keep your skill of golf up, which is the most important thing for golfers. But you have to manage that. You can't overdo it. Your body can only take so much stress and strain. The stronger it is, the better shape it is, the more it can take, but there's still going to be a ceiling to that. And that ceiling is going to change based on a lot of factors, how we feel, how we sleep, which we'll get into, our stress, our emotional levels. All these things can affect where that kind of ceiling, where that level is. So learning how to manage that around, day-to-day changes, both in the gym and on the practice field, repetitions and loads, is a huge part of any athlete, especially higher level athletes' ability to stay healthy. The last thing is kind of a few things. So number one is sleep. Probably one of the most important things and the least done things is getting quality sleep. Before you start looking at supplements and all these crazy recovery things that are out there, that most of them are BS anyways, getting enough sleep should be your number one thing. If you're not doing that, then you don't need to worry about anything else recovery wise. So there are plenty of places out there you can find some good sleep hygiene habits, dark, cool room, setting alarms, consistent times, both sleep and wake times, keeping a journal, something by your bed to write down your thoughts, that type of thing, meditation, prayer, whatever works for you to calm you down, calm your nervous system down, calm your mind down, and get to sleep. This is something I personally struggle with. I've always struggled with and still struggle with. I've never been a great sleeper. And my quality of sleep kind of waxes and wanes more than I'd like it to. Along with that is stress management. Life is stressful. There's no such thing as avoiding stress. It's how we handle the stress when it comes. And learning to manage how our reactions to that. And with that, just managing our mental health as a whole. Depression, anxiety, these are important things that go well beyond your performance in sport, but your overall well-being, and finding people to talk to, getting on the right medications if needed. I personally use a counselor. I use some low-level medications to help keep my depression and anxiety under control. And I'm not perfect with it like anybody else, but that's a huge part of really being the best athlete, the best person we can be. The last thing is maintaining healthy relationships, healthy social relationships, whether that's significant other, friends, families, just keeping a community around you. This kind of goes back to the mental health. There's tons of studies out there that show, if you want to look at happiness or, just better mental health, a big part of that are people that may struggle with those things don't tend to have, a good social support system around them. So not just the number of people, but quality people and people that are wanting what's best for you. And sometimes that means maybe cutting some negative out of your life. If there are people that you're around that tend to bring you down. But maintaining healthy, good relationships is a huge part of that. So if you struggle with any of these things, comment below. Let us know what you're struggling with. Feel free to direct message me, or you can email me at johnpaul, johnpaul @gidtreept.com. I don't have the answers, especially when it comes to mental health and things like that. That's outside of my scope, but I can definitely point you in the right direction. But before you start looking at cryotherapy and supplements and whatever else is out there that touts recovery, that really probably doesn't do anything anyway, make sure you nail these things down first. If you're doing perfect with all these, then feel free to do whatever you want. But if you're not, then these are the big rocks you need to chisel away at. Thanks, and have a good day.